Okay, I am back for a little bit, and then I'm going to pause again and go get my little girl some dinner. Yes. Okay, so what I want to talk about was these toothpicks, because this goes into the category of homemade embellishments, okay? And so what I have is toothpicks that some are basic gray, some I have made myself. Okay, again, these jars. Love these jars. Where did these jars come from? Walmart. Yes, okay? They have a metal lid, glass jar, but they're big enough for my hand to reach in, okay? When you're looking at jars, save yourself some hassle, save yourself some money. If you want to be able to reach in, make sure it's wide enough, okay? So these are some by Basic Gray. These are some that I made, okay? And I said in another video, if you would like to know how to make these flag toothpicks, well, we call them flags, but they're just paper with toothpicks. That's all they are. I will definitely show, because they are so simple, so fun, and you get to use some punches, and you get to use scraps. I mean, yes, and it's so fun that you can make some. I'm putting some here that I made. You can actually make them to go with a collection or a theme, like Disney. This is perfect for Disney. Everything's perfect for Disney. Yes, can I get an amen? Okay, so if anybody wants to show, I will sit down and we'll do them one day. That would be fun. I would like to replenish mine. So, homemade embellishments. Simply put them in a jar, basket, something that's protected. And I say this all the time, but you don't want your embellishments getting dusty. Why? You pay too much for things. Look, there's some in a banner shape and some in a triangle shape. See different ways you can do that. Yes. Okay, so homemade embellishments. Yes, just do them however you want to do them. Just make sure you keep them protected. You don't want dusty, because why did I just say that? Because they're expensive. There's no sense, you know, would you let money sit out on the countertop and get dusty? No, don't let your embellishments sit out. Okay, homemade embellishments. This is what I want to talk about. This could be anything that you make. Homemade, okay? Now these don't fit in there. Okay. I was working with a project, that's why the blue ones are in there. Okay, so there again, I have more faux chipboard. I have tassels. No, I have little bow ties that I made out of a punch, which you can see that video. I'll list it below how to make that. And so this is what I want to say. When you're making homemade embellishments, do it the same way you do your other embellishments. Either you do it by color or you do it by type. You could simply have another jar, and this is just for flags. I could have another jar just for my bows. Okay, now I have them in here because I had made them and I was traveling and I made them, so I just stuck them in here. But I will tell you, these are just good for photos, which I think I just talked about that. I wouldn't be putting embellishments in there. Okay, so homemade embellishments, same way. Do it as you would any other category. Would you want them by color or do you want them by shape? Okay, the type they are. Okay, so I just have my bows here, but that's because I haven't addressed these. I need to do something with them, and I haven't figured out what to do with them. I'll figure it out later. I don't have time right now. Okay, so what else? I think that is the end of our categories, but I have three things sitting here. These things sitting here because I wanted to say something. Okay, so what do you do when you come across an embellishment and you don't know where you want it? Okay, you see these? These are old school. These are by Making Memories. Remember them? Ugh, I just used them on a page I did in May. Too fun. So, and you're going to see the influence of, in my opinion, I have to get a drink. In my opinion, you're going to see an influence of metal come back in embellishments. Why? Because everything else has cycled through, and so it's time for metal to come back. Truly, I think you're going to see that. So if you see this type of embellishment, you'd be like, where am I putting this? Am I putting this in tags? Am I putting it in frames? Am I putting it in white? Or am I putting in metallic? And guess what? There is no wrong answer to any of that. It's how you would think that you want to access them. Or sometimes what I've been known to do is sometimes I will put some in tags, some I will put in white, and some I'll put in gray and silver. There isn't no wrong way. Because honestly, whenever you do, you're going to run across it. Okay, so if you have it, say you put this in gray and silver and you came across it and you're like, why is that there? Well, then you can put where you think it goes. There's nothing wrong with even splitting up embellishments and putting them in different areas, because it's all about using it. It's not about housing it in the perfect manner. Okay, now I had these sitting here because I wanted to remind you, we're going to talk about my color bin after I go make dinner and come back. I wanted to say that within your embellishments, for me, it would be pink and green. Okay? In the embellishments, if you have a lot of something, for me, it would be pink and green. It's okay if you separate the shades of that embellishment into different categories. Meaning, for me, in my green, right here is a bag of mint green embellishments. And then right here is a bag of lime green. Okay? So this is the mint green. Oh man, I just feel like okay, what else I want to say? And then I have a bag, if I can find it. Yes. I call this Kelly Green because I'm in love with Kelly Green. Okay, this is what I wanted to show. There's nothing wrong when you have embellishments. And again, these are just in bags. And what do I have? I have everything under the sun. I have brads, I have buttons, I have felt, I have flowers, I have chipboard. I got everything. Twine, doilies, there's even doilies. Okay, so if you have a category, a color category, that you have different shades of, and you don't want to just put it all together, there's nothing wrong with in your color category or in your embellishment category to split it up. I have mint green, I have Kelly green, I have lime green. I will tell you why. Because I have a lot of green, and I got so tired of looking for, because in my style, that's what I'm going to go for. I'm either going to go for mint green, Kelly green, or I'm going for lime green. Okay? And so that helps me to, once again, increase my productivity because I know exactly where to go when I want a certain thing. And I'll talk about that in just a minute, how you know how to go reference that. Okay? I tell you, this is going to be a long video. Oof. Okay. I could sit here for hours and talk about this because I've learned so many things. Okay? This is one of the things I learned. There's nothing wrong with having all your green embellishments in one box, bin, basket, bag, however you want to do it. But then if you find yourself down the road, you're spending too much time looking for something, stop for a minute and say to yourself, what is holding me back from getting that embellishment quicker? It may be because they need to be in a different shade. And maybe it's because there's a different type. You want to just have your brads in a bag, okay? Or you want to just have your flowers and felt in a bag, okay? So that's what I wanted to say. Within my pink, I have light pink and dark pink. And then even within my flowers, you saw I had them in 3 different shades because it just seemed like they fit in 3 different shades. So it's okay. There is no fast rule that all your green has to be together. There's no fast rule that says, this is my mint green, this is my Kelly green, this is my lime green. Now, some of you gals, it may be for black. Or black. It may be your purple category. You may have light purple and dark purple. Of course, who has a lot of purple of anything? I don't know. What other color? Reds. Reds is a category where you can get into light red and dark red. Yellow, that's basically blues. Blues is another category. Light blue, dark blue. And then also, too, some people put turquoise in with blue. For me, I have turquoise separate on everything because I have a lot of it. Okay? So I wanted to talk about that. And that's why I left that little representation there to say there's nothing wrong with separating shades of color in with your embellishment groups. Okay, so I think I will stop there. I will go feed my little one, and then I will be back. And what we're going to talk about is, you ready? My color bins. Okay, now these are my big color bins. Okay, and these are my color bins that started my other color bins. And you'll be like, oh, you're talking in circles. Yeah, because it had me in circles, okay? And I'll tell you why. So when we come back, I'm going to talk about, let's see if the lid will go on there. Oh, someone remind me. Oh, I got to make a note. Someone remind me about why it's hard to put lids. Oh, that's going to be funny. Okay. Okay, in fact, what I'll do is I'll just leave this lid right here, and that will remind me when I come back, I'm going to address something when it comes about our embellishments. Okay, so hang on. I'll be back after dinner. Okay, I am back, and so a couple things I wanted to go over before I talk about my personal color bins and another way I do my embellishments as far as the flow of my scrapbooking process. I wanted to go over that right now. This is the time. This is July/August time, and that's when back to school products hit the shelves. So this is a good time to buy jump rings and index cards because we use that in our space as well. And then also too, these little containers you know, you find this in the, you know, the lunchbox section, any type of thing that is an organizer, you know, back to school section, don't overlook those type of things, especially pencil boxes, things like that. They're great organizers for our embellishments. Okay, so the other thing I wanted to say was, as I was doing some editing, I wanted to show this where I have my brads, and I wanted to say this would also be a good way if you had a certain amount of Flair. This would be good for Flair and also beads and bling and things like that. But I wanted to show, I forgot to mention that if you look at this container, and I've had this for many years, you see what happens to plastic after a while. See how this is getting yellow? Okay, and that is something I wanted to talk about and I forgot, because you do want to think before you start putting money into product, you know, organizers, especially plastic. They do yellow over time, and then they start to look dingy, and they start to not look so great over time. So that's one of those things you have to pay attention to when it comes to, you know, forking money into an organizer. How is it going to hold up? You know, not only function, but also how's it going to look? To me, this looks dingy, and you know, it's not really out and about, but it's something that I think I'm going to, you know, maybe in a few months or so, I'm going to look at getting a new one. I mean, this has a great seal, so I would have to, you know, sometimes newer products aren't as good as the older product. Of you know, sometimes things don't get better with age, or how do I want to say that? Sometimes they come out with product, but it's not as good as what the older product was, even though it's the same thing. You know what I mean? So this has a really good seal. So you know, it's one of those things I have to compare. But it's starting to look yellow, and this is the downfall of using plastic so much. Okay, I wanted to mention that, and then also too with all those embellishments we talked about. The reason I showed all those different embellishments is because, one, I have a lot of new, you know, there's people on my channel that are new to scrapbooking, and I wanted to show them a variety of different ways to do embellishments. Not everything needs to be bought at IKEA. There's nothing wrong with using photo cases. There's absolutely nothing wrong with using bead organizers or baggies. There's nothing wrong with putting things on jump rings. There's nothing wrong with putting embellishments and little things that you get from the Dollar Tree. Okay, and then of course, you know, my beloved photo boxes. Okay, even little dishes for just a couple embellishments. Don't have 8 or 9 dishes sitting on your work surface, because that is, you know, your work surface. You don't want embellishments to the left and to the right. Just 1 or 2 embellishments at the most, to me, I have found has been the most productive for me. You don't need everything sitting out and about. And you know, as Tiffany Spalding said, it's representation. Okay, which will lead me to my next category or my next level, because basically I have 3 tiers, 3 levels of embellishments in my space, because of my style, because of how I scrap, and because of how much I scrap, and because of how long I have scrapped. Next month it'll be 23 years that I've been scrapbooking. So yes, you amass a great deal of product and inventory and supplies in, you know, that's over 2 decades. You know, it was a quarter of a century almost coming up. Okay, so I'm going to go over what I did. Okay, so someone would say, well, if you have things organized in, you know, I have my buttons in a jar, and I have, you know, enamels on a jump ring, and I have wood veneer. Well, no, that wouldn't be a good example. I have brads in a dish, okay? And you saw some of the other ways I have, you know, photo boxes, bags, that type of thing. Why would you need to do anything different, okay? Which led me to my next area, which are my photo boxes, okay? I'm going to take my jacket off. I'm working up a sweat already. Yes. I'm telling you what, organizing can be hard work. It's hard on your brain. And I said this in another video. When you get to the point and you're starting to feel tired and you can't make decisions, that's because your brain is tired. And so just give it a rest and come back and pick up later. Okay, so then my next level of embellishments is photo boxes, okay? Now, when I talked in the video about organizing by color, and it was border stickers and border strips, I listed my rainbow system, and I will list it again below. And that's exactly the colors that I have with my photo boxes. And so I basically have one box per color, except pink, and I'll show you that in a minute, and then also my purple, which I'll show that in a minute. Okay, so why do I have photo boxes when I have everything else? It's because the amount that I have, okay? And so, and I'll just show that. This is my green photo box, photo box. This is my green color bin. And so I just showed this, that I have items in mint green, lime green, Kelly green. Okay, but then if you look in this, what do I have? I have die cuts, I have brads, I have flowers, I have doilies, felt, chipboard, more enamels. Okay, these are more holiday themed. I have bigger frames, more die cuts, buttons, more enamels. These are my lime green, lime green, lime green. Okay, and then I have enamels, eyelets, brads, paper clips, buttons, buttons, buttons. I have more. These are from a group buy. Okay, those are overflow. And then I have a bunch of twine in here, thread, and I also have washi. Okay, now this started out because, you know, I had, you know, box or bins, and I had glass jars, but that didn't fit everything I owned. And so I'm like, well, that's not going to work. And for a while it did work in theory, because I had my buttons in a jar, I had Flair in a jar, and I had brads in a jar, and that type of thing. I even had twine in a jar at one time. Even I had washi in a jar at one time. The only thing is that when I sat to scrap, I would have, you know, sometimes 5, 6 jars at a time. Well, that did not fit on my space, so that meant I had to put things on the floor. So then I was like, okay, I have to rethink the wheel. So I thought I needed a bigger container for how I scrapped. And so at that time it was really by the heavily influence of color. So I thought, okay, I'm going to take my embellishments and put it by color in a photo box, label the color, and I'm good to go. I do not need anything else. I will have room to grow, and I have it all figured out. And it worked for several years that way. Okay, until you buy and buy and buy. Okay, because even when I had converted this product to photo boxes, I still didn't have everything I owned. Say just for green, everything I owned that was green still did not fit in here because I had too much at the time. So that started the whole process. I'm just going to put this here. That started the whole process for me as how I needed to start, maybe a spending freeze needed to happen in my future. And I'm talking a few years ago, like 3 years ago. That's when I started to think, I maybe probably should not be buying anything for a little bit, because if I have this entire photo box full of green embellishments, and you can see there is a variety, enamel dots, washi, twine. Oh, and here, I'll talk about this. I'll lay these here. I'll talk about that in a minute. I have die cuts, I have stickers, I have felt, chipboard, eyelets, buttons, you name it. I mean, that's a you know, a lot, different types to do a page. So I thought, okay, well, that will work, and it did for a while. Until the first thing I ran into, I'm going to leave these out so I don't forget to talk about it. The first thing I ran into was that every time I wanted something by color, I had to go and drag these out. Now, when I first did this, I did not have them in the way I have them stored on my shelves now. And I just had like maybe 5 photo boxes in a row, you know, in a column. Well, every time I moved one, the other 3 moved, and that didn't work. So I had to, you know, in a year or so later, then I switched things around. Now they're not hard to get to, so it's a much better system. So that's what I wanted to say. Even though I've been scrapbooking a long time and I have some things figured out, I still fine-tune things every so often. Maybe every 6 to 8 months, up to a year, I'm fine-tuning things. And just in March, I was fine-tuning things again. So I had said earlier, don't look for the perfect container, because it doesn't exist, and don't think that you have this perfected, because there's always going to be fine-tuning, because we buy more, we get rid of stuff, and then our style changes. Okay, so back to my color bins. Absolutely love this way. I will never stop having these in photo boxes, because I like having a variety of I have a variety of embellishments in one box by color, and that works really well for me. Okay, now the problem I ran into, okay, well, let me talk about this because I'm going to forget. If you have a lot of washi like me, this may not work, but at one time when I just had a moderate amount or a small amount of washi, making up washi samples on these are not, well, I'm going to say plastic, but they may be like acrylic plastic. Is that such a thing? Not plastic. And if you want to see how I do that, someone remind me and I'll show how I did this. These came from the Dollar Tree, and then you make samples, and so then you could keep these out and about. So you could look, instead of having to pull everything out, because I had these on the side, or maybe over here. And so then at one time, and this was, you know, 3-4 years ago, I would pull this out and I knew exactly what washi I had. Okay? And see, I had my lime green, my Kelly green, and my mint green. And I had to sort of separated by that. And so then I didn't have to dig through my washi. I had a reference. Really quick reference, okay? And if someone wants to show all that, let me know. Very, very good system. That doesn't work for me now because I have too much washi. And I have bought too much washi. And that doesn't even, I mean, it's applicable a little bit. I still have all of them. Okay, but I'll show you more about that. Okay, so the problem I ran into then, okay, is that once I put all these items in, and I'll get all this stuff back in, I try to put my heavier items on the bottom, like my paper clips. I mean, look how many paper clips. Really, I could purge some of them, but I just really not in the mood for that right now. And I had talked about that earlier. See, I have mint green, Kelly green. So in this color box, I even have it separated by the shades of green that I use. Absolutely. Works very well. Okay. I was putting all this back in because this is what I wanted to tell before I went to go make dinner. I wanted to say something. The problem with this is what you're looking at right now. Taking things out and putting it back in can be a pain. But there's also a benefit to that. The benefit is that as you're looking at your inventory all the time, you're knowing and you're seeing, oh, I have this. Oh, I have those eyelets. Oh, I have those paper clips. Oh, I have those doilies. Oh, I have that lime green. Oh, I have these frames. You see what I'm saying? But here's the problem. Now, you saw me take everything out of that box. It is almost impossible to get things back in a box when it's this full. And why is that? Well, you know the old saying, it never goes back to the way it was originally. Nothing ever does. Nothing ever does. So, I got to a point when this was happening. Every time I would get out, saying I use basically 3 colors. Every time I would scrapbook, I would get 3 of these out at a time. They would be on the floor. And then I would have to sift through them. And of course, no big deal. Just put the stuff on a tray, you know, dump it out. No big deal. Actually fun to do. But then I was having trouble with having to get things back in the box. And then I started to realize my pile, no, I haven't really bought anything. What is this, July, August? I really haven't bought anything. And look, and that's not all the green embellishments I own. So once I started to do this, it started to be a mindset like, wow, I have more than I thought, because I had everything in a jar, a basket, or bin here and there and everywhere. But when you start to put everything, for me, it's by color. I put all my green in one area. I was like, oh my word. I didn't know I had so much because it was here and there. But when it's in one concentrated box or bin and you can physically look at it and physically hold it up and you think, you have plenty, girl. You have no business be buying anything else. And a few years ago, that's what I was running into. When I was putting these photo boxes together and I saw that basically every one of these boxes is basically that full. And this is my overflow box, okay? And I'm thinking, yeah, okay, I need to start thinking about a spending freeze. Okay. So that was my color boxes. Okay, now this one's marked green. Okay, and I want to talk about these just for another minute, and then I'll talk about my other color bins. Okay, these are my color boxes. My others are color bins. That's what I call them. Okay, so this is my green color bin. Again, look, full, full, full. Nothing wrong with this. Absolutely love this. But when I would go to scrap, it started to be a little bit of a hindrance because there was so much in there. And then I would have to put them on the floor. You know, they're not that cumbersome, but you know, on the floor, I trip over things. Okay, so there was my green one. Okay, now, remember I said I have pink. So, in this box, and I use more pink than any other color because, you know, I have a girl, is that I put my light pink in here, and I have these all labeled, and this one says dark pink and coral, okay? Because I noticed that I was starting to, and I had said that in the video organizing my color, when you do a rainbow system, it's okay if down the road you realize, I'm having a lot more coral than I realize. I'm having a lot more turquoise than I realize. It's okay to make up another category, or in my case for green, I made 3 subcategories. You know, I did the Kelly green, the lime green, and the mint green, because that, you know, that's what I'm going to reach for. So this is all my light pink stuff, and it's basically the same type of things you're going to see in my green. It's just pink, okay? Twine, washi. Again, I have these washi samples. And then another thing I did is I started to add in journaling cards or cut apart cards, a little representation in this, because when I get out my color boxes, this is a representation that I have these to play with, okay? Because this is all color, right? It's all pink. Anything pink can go in here. Doesn't matter if it's twine, washi, ribbon, sequins. See, there's a bag of sequins that's inside is full of a bunch of little bags. I mean, how easy is that? I mean, that hardly takes up no space for all those different types of sequins. You can have eyelets, chipboard buttons, that type of thing. This is all what I have baby pink. Because when I'm going for pink, I want baby pink separate then. Again, more enamel dots. Okay, die cuts, things like that. And then over here I have dark pink and coral. Again, it's the same thing. It's the same type of embellishments. Actually, it's any type of embellishments. Enamel dots, twine, washi, you name it, braids, die cuts, buttons. And so then, look here, there's Flair. So remember when I had in my Flair binder out and I said not all my Flair is there? It's not. And could I pull all of these out and put them in my binder? Yes, but it doesn't hurt to have embellishments in more than one place, okay? Because when I sit down to and use this color box, I don't have to get out the pink binder my Flair binder all the time, okay? Okay, so that's the pink. And I showed that because I wanted to say it's okay if you go ahead and make up another subcategory in your rainbow system. Because some people's going to have more blue. Some people's going to have more pink. Some people's going to have way more turquoise. I tell you what, when you start putting things together by color and you realize how much you have, yeah, that's what I ran into. Okay, now, it's okay when you're doing embellishments, and if you're doing it by color, or if you're doing it by type, it's okay to put more than one category in a box or bin or a basket. In this photo box, it's labeled photo or purple/multi, because this is my purple category and my multicolored category. So again, what I have, flowers. So you'd say, well, why wasn't that in with your purple flowers? Because I have more embellishments in more than one area, okay? Now, it would work nice if I could took those purple flowers out of my flower box and put in here. I don't have any room. And that was the problem. I realized, because this is what I had allocated for my color bin, my color bin, color box, okay? And this box right here is not enough for all of my embellishments. So that is why I have some still in jars and baskets. Well, basically jars and photo boxes. That's basically what I use, okay? Now, that process is slowly going away, where I'm taking things out of jars and other photo boxes and putting them in my color bins. But my problem was that I was shopping more than I was using. And once these are full, you're going to have to really start pumping out the pages for things to go down, okay? Because it's amazing how much product you have and how much you really use on a page. We all know that. Okay, so purple, purple, purple. There's paper clips, eyelets. What do we have? Braids, bling. Yeah, okay. And then there's more. And then here's my multicolor stuff. Okay. Oh, there's purple. And I was surprised when I put my purple together, I didn't have a lot. So at that time, when I put my color bin, this purple and multi together, I realized I didn't have a lot of purple. So then when I saw purple items hit the market, then I was buying them, like these pearls and sequins and washi my sister gifted me, and twine and thread. I knew I didn't have a lot, so I bought them. Okay, and so then I have a multicolor section. Okay, and even multicolor washi. Okay, and so I don't have a lot of multi, but I need to put it somewhere. And some of these things I just don't, where do you put that? I use a multicolor. And some people say you shouldn't use multicolor section. Some people consider a multicolor grouping as a miscellaneous. No, it's not miscellaneous. I know exactly what this is. It's multicolor. In my opinion, in my style, that's multicolor. Now, I struggle with that, so I like to do challenges. Again, here's some of these washi samples that I did. Okay, and if you have a little amount of washi, this is ideal. This is perfect. I mean, right there. And that's basically all my multicolor, because I stopped buying it because I realized I wasn't using it. Okay. So when I see challenges for multicolor, I know just to pull out this photo box, I'm good to go. Okay. I have a loose embellishment, so I'm going to put that away. So what if you see in this, you see a pack of braids. So someone would say, well, now you have braids there and you got braids there. Now you have braids in here. Yes, I have braids in a multiple array of places. And also too, this is a collection. And so I've been keeping this collection together because I have some Disney pages in mind for that. Okay, so again, it doesn't hurt to, and again, look, baggies, baggies, baggy, 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 baggy. Yes, I love using baggies. Look, there's enamel dots, there's buttons, there's braids, there's paper clips, flowers, chipboard. See what I'm saying? Nothing ever goes back in the same. That's a lot. Okay, and this also goes to say that when you give yourself an allotted space for embellishments, then once that box or bin or basket is full, you are telling your brain you have enough, you do not need to buy any more. And that really helps with your shopping and your spending habits. The thing is, when I started these, what do I have down here? I think I had another one. When I started these, this was going to be my color bin. And then I realized everything I owned didn't fit in that. I had even more than just what I had allocated. So like I said, I'm slowly working through those other jars. But I left them serve as decorative. They sit on a shelf. They're in the jars. They look pretty. So 2 for 1, right? Okay. So the color boxes, I love them. And again, I have one in every rainbow of my, every color in my rainbow. And what surprised me is that a lot of times when I'm doing embellishments, white and ivory is a color group I have to put together. But when I did those photo box or color boxes, I had enough ivory to fill up a whole box. I had no idea I had that much color in ivory. I was surprised. Now again, that was a few years ago. Okay, I'm saying 3 to 4 years ago, maybe even, I've lost track of time. Yeah, maybe even 5 years ago I did that. Yeah, that's been a while since I did them. And so then I scrapbook and I used them, loved them. The only problem is I was having to pull out 3 or 4 at a time to do a page. And that was taking up too much space right here at my work surface and on my floor. So I told myself one day, I'm going to go with my green here. I told myself one day, I need to find something that is more accessible and that it doesn't take up as much room, but yet I still have a variety of embellishments to play with when I sit down to do a page, because I've been scrapbooking so long that I know for my style, I do not need 100 different embellishments and product for a page. I can get away with just a few and be happy with it, okay? We all like things to play with, okay? But once, and again, this is a process. This is a many-year process, and I'm learning that for me, when I do, and I like to do fast pages, not all the time, but I don't like to spend 3 days on a page. I got too many stories to tell. So I knew that I needed a smaller representation, and that is the key word. When Tiffany Spalding had said that word one day, it set off so many light bulbs in my brain. Oh, I can't even tell you. I have used that word so many times in my scrapbooking, the way I do things now, is representation. Okay, so with my color boxes, and I'll show this again. Okay, so I call these, the photo boxes my color boxes, and I call these my color bins, because that's what they are. They're just little bins. Okay. Now let me get this back out. I have these stacked 5 high now. Oh, Lord. Ay, ay, ay. Wonder how long before this comes crashing. But I have it on a little bit of a footstool, so I should be okay. So basically what I did was, I hope I'll be in frame a little bit, I took this system, my color box, and I made it smaller for me to fit my style, okay? Now, I had to do that because I got tired. This box is full. I did not want to have to sort through every one of these. Say if I wanted some lime green die cuts. I would have to move this and this and this, and there they are, okay? But say if I wanted chipboard, well then I'd have to move this and this and this, and that's not bad, okay? Really it isn't, okay? But it's still, to me, I felt like it was still interfering with my productivity, okay? I like to get pages done, okay? I like for them to be pretty, I like for them to be meaningful, but I like getting pages done, okay? I'm a scrapbooker and I have the albums to prove it. That's what I always say. Okay, so even though this is a good system, I will never do it any different than this. I definitely know I have plenty. I do not need to be shopping. Hence the reason I'm on a year-long spending freeze. but I needed a smaller version of that. And so one day, a couple years ago, I was looking for something on YouTube for my daughter, for something for college, and I came across this school teacher who came up with this toolbox system for her classroom, and I was like, wow, my mind was blown, because I was thinking, I think I could utilize something like that in my scrapbook space. And I didn't know that, you know, there was a big aerial on Pinterest for this, because I don't go on Pinterest too much, but YouTube's my jam. So I saw this teacher, and she was a special education teacher, and she had and it was called a teacher toolbox. Okay, and it's basically what those toolboxes you would see in someone's garage. It's a same type of thing. Okay. And she had used that, and I thought, and she had actually showed what these bins looked like, and boy, my brain started working. I thought, okay, this would be a smaller representation of my color boxes. I could have a color bin. And so I bought 2 of them. Okay, now my 1 unit, and these both sit right to my right. If I stood up, my hand would be touching them. They're just not very far from me. Okay, so I have 2 units side by side, and they are, and I wrote down the measurements, they are 20 by 16. So they're not huge, but they're not small. They're just the perfect size. And the kind I bought and the kind I recommend are by Acrylic, and I will have the link below, and I will put those at the very top of the description box, because I am absolutely in love with a capital LOVE with this toolbox system that I use for my color bins. And so the first one I have has how many? 24 drawers. So it has 24 of these. Well, these are the same size. Okay, it has 24 of these. Okay, now in my first unit that has 24 of these drawers, I have them in my rainbow color system. And so what I did for each color, other than my white and my purple, okay, I have 2 drawers for each color. And so what I have on the left, and I have it set up the exact same way, because if you start at the top and you go row by row, they're in my rainbow system. And then even within these 2 colors, this is my green, I have my die cuts and my stickers and flat items. I even have some twine and stuff in there. And then in the second one, I have the more bumpier, lumpy things, lump and bump. So I have Flair, enamel dots, buttons, braids, you get the idea. Okay, so what I did was I took the idea of this color box and I made a smaller version into these color bins. One, because I had the room. Okay, I got rid of a few other things, and so what I did is I purged some things to make room for this system. Okay, and I'm trying to think what I got rid of. I think I just got rid of some decorative pieces, and I perhaps got rid of, I think that's what it is. It's been a while. It's been a few years. I think, I'd have to ask my daughter. I think they were decorative pieces. I think they were. Yes. I think I just had to get rid of some things. Okay. So I got rid of the things that weren't my favorite because I wanted to make room for this. So again, my first system is 20 by 16, has 24 of these drawers. I have 2 for each color in my rainbow, other than I have 1 just for white and 1 for purple, because I didn't have a lot of them and I wanted to make room for everything. Okay. And so I'll talk about that in just a minute. So then, if you look at this green photo box, basically what did I do? I just narrowed my choices. Everything that's in here is in here. It's just on a smaller scale. And believe me, to sit down and do a page, tell me for green, just green, because sometimes I'll pull out a couple colors. Tell me that that's not plenty enough to make a page. Absolutely in love with these drawers. They're very sturdy. They're not cheap. They're not cheaply made. But again, I only recommend the kind that I got, and it's by Acrylic, AKRO-MILLS. And I got them from Amazon. I'll have them linked below. So that is my color bins. Okay. Now I have another one of these units that sits right beside it. I don't suggest stacking them. I've seen people do them. And you know, another thing is, I see another hobby that uses these bins, and that is people that is seriously into Legos. Oh my goodness, I saw one guy, he had a whole wall of these systems. I'm like, whoa. But they're affordable. You can get a lot of product in there. Okay, so what I did with my green photo box, I just made a smaller representation. Now, not everything that's in there is in here, but guess what you can do? You can make little notes. So what do I have? Mint green and lime green in my color box. Okay, and I have that right there just to remind me that I have other options. Again, this is a representation, this little note, because I didn't want to fill these over to the top, because if you look, here's my turquoise. Okay, so there's my green and there's my turquoise, same thing. I have one that's just for flat, you know, stickers and things like that. Okay, and then on the other side of that, and these sit right beside each other. And I will see if I can try to insert a photo. It depends on my software. I don't know if I can insert photos like that. I maybe can, okay? So then on the right, what do I have? I have more of my lump and bump, my bling, my zing, enamel dots, things like that, okay? Now tell me, if I was sitting down to do a page, that's more than enough, okay? And how much space do those take? I mean, I can have them sitting right in front of me while I'm sitting here doing a page. I'm in love with this system. Again, my first one for just these has 24 drawers, and they're all the same size, okay? Now, the one that sits right beside that has 12 of these. This is considered a large, okay? A large little bin, okay? Has 12 of these. And I'll do that in just a minute. Let me move these. Okay, so I have one of those just for, my embellishments. And then the other unit that's sitting right beside it, and it's the same size, 20 by 16. But I have 32 of these small units, and that's just for my wood veneer. Because this was something I wanted to play with, and I wanted it to be accessible. And so I knew this system would work. So I have 32 of these small ones. It is 8 across and 4 down. Okay, so I have 32 of these, and in that same unit, I have 12 of these. Okay, so what is that? That's 44 drawers in just that 20 by 16 unit. Love them. Again, the link will be below. So what I have in my second unit that sits right beside my die cuts and enamel dots is I have my wood veneer on my top, and underneath in these 12 bigger bins, I have my washi. Yeah, so when I want to sit down, I have wood veneer, washi. Okay, say if I'm doing a page in green. Okay, look at all I have right here, and this is just 3 drawers, and I could pull out a wood veneer. I mean, just look, that is plenty. Plenty. I'm so happy with that. Now, how much were those? I'm thinking, now remember, it was a few years I bought those, and they're still available. I believe it was $35 a piece. They were 40, near the 40 mark, maybe a little under or a little over, but they were near the 40 mark. So happy with them. And believe me, I did a lot of measuring. I did a lot of reading before I decided to go with that, because I'm like, oh, that's $80 right off the pop. But I knew it would solve a problem, and I will tell you, for $80, it solved my problem, because now I have a small representation, but I have so many choices when I sit down to do a page. And a lot of you have seen me pull these in my start to finish. And then, what else was I going to say? Not only do I have all my colors represented, I have all the different types of embellishments I use represented. That's been the greatest thing. Now, the only thing is, I would say you can't fill these too full, okay? And I will tell you, for turquoise and a couple other colors, I probably have too many items in here, okay? The best thing about this is that you just pull them. They pull out very easily. Okay, that sits in a little bit better. You just pull them out, slide them in, pull them out, slide them in. Now, when I am using them, I bring them over to my desk. They just pull out, okay? But sometimes with the washi and just my wood veneer, I'll just slide them out, get what I need. I don't have to take them completely out of the unit. But for these, I take out of the unit, put them on my desk, ready to go. What else did I want to say? Give me a minute, I'll take a drink. I think that was it. So these are 20 by 16, so you can visualize how big that unit is. And I'll try to see if I can insert a photo within the video clip here, so you can see. But I will also link the video that shows the teacher, because I just looked, she still has it on the internet, on YouTube, of where that instant inspiration and that light bulb moment when I saw her do this teacher toolbox. And I've seen a lot of other women, school teachers, do that. And you may know exactly what I'm talking about. You may be a teacher yourself and you already know what I'm talking about. But I didn't know such a thing existed. And when I saw what they did with these teacher toolboxes, which, man, you talk about teachers being creative. Yeah, go look on YouTube for teacher toolboxes and see what these chickies do. They are amazing. Well, teachers are amazing anyways, but so very happy. So that is my color bin and my color boxes and my embellishments. So it all started with having embellishments in jars, basket, and bins. Then I realized that I need a system more that was just by color. So henceforth came my photo, my color boxes. And then because of the amount I had, I needed a better system that was on a smaller scale. And that is where my color bins stepped in. And so, I'm just happy with this. It would have saved a lot of aggravation if I would have done it years ago, but I just, this is just the right size. Now, all the ones I saw before, because I've seen lots of other scrapbookers use this type of system in the past, but they were using ones that looked this size. I never saw things this size. But then, I don't go into tool sections very often. And this is perfect for wood veneer, but that's not perfect for die cuts. You see what I'm saying? So when you're looking at these type of toolboxes, especially by the Acrylic company, they have different configurations. The one I have is 24 of these, and then the other one I have is 32 of these and 12 of these. So there's different configurations, okay? And like I said, with the second one, I have wood veneer on the top, and on the bottom I have my washi. And I'm absolutely in love. I don't think I'll ever be changing that. I don't think I'll be changing that in the near future. And it's been, I think, two and a half years already that I've been doing that. And absolutely been worth every penny. Okay, so that is a very, very long video, a long explanation, a lot of talking about embellishments. But embellishments is a big, large group, okay? So I hope you don't mind the long video. I just know that I've got a variety of questions from new scrapbookers, and also people want to know, how do I organize this? How do I organize that? And then a lot of people were asking me about my color bins and my color boxes. Excuse me. Because I have made reference, and a lot of people have seen them in my videos. And I didn't just want to simply say this is what they are, because this was a thought process and something that came as a result of something else, if that makes sense. So, okay. So, you started with jars, and then you start with baskets and bins. Then you start with, then other organizers. And then I went to the color boxes. And how many color boxes do I have? Oh my, how many I'm missing? Because I got some on the floor here. I think 18. I have 18 of these color boxes, okay? Because they're in my rainbow. And like I said, my pink I divvied out, and then I had one just for white and one for ivory, which I had no idea. Oh, yes. So basically, I work from these, but if I need other things, I just go right to the appropriate color box, and they're all in close proximity. Again, and these photo boxes fit well on my bookcases, which is what I needed to do for my own space, okay? You may have bigger rooms and bigger shelves, and you can get away with bigger boxes, but that's what worked for me. And I will tell you, if you're somebody on a budget, you can't beat the cost of these photo boxes, and they hold up. They really do. I have found that the ones from Hobby Lobby, I think, are a little bit better grade than the ones that are by Michaels now. It used to be Michaels had the better ones. They were sturdier, but they have gotten cheaper over the last few years. So I think Hobby Lobby has the better brand as far as sturdiness when it comes to photo boxes, but that's my opinion. Okay, so a lot of talk. Okay, but now if you're someone that's just starting out, there's nothing wrong with just getting one photo box, using baggies, I mean, how affordable, and grouping your embellishments either by product type or by color, and run with it. Okay, and I'm going to show you, because I'll just keep talking until you shut me off. I'll just keep talking. Yes, I will. Okay, I have another photo box. What's it called? Embellishments, because this is some embellishments that I just really don't know where I want to put it, and I'm still using it like this. I have some pages coming up. So in this, where would you put that? I don't know. So I have some other embellishments that's just in a box called embellishments. Again, overflow. Again, shows you why I went on a spending freeze. Yeah, and I still have way more than this. Yes, I still have more than this. And so you see, that's why a spending freeze had to happen. And that box was full. Okay, but this is something I'm putting back for some stories and layouts I have coming up. Now, the other question someone's going to say is, well, what about stickers, die cuts, and chipboard? Ooh, Okay, to me, those are embellishments. They're a different type of embellishments because of how much we have of each one of those, okay? And sometimes chipboard doesn't fit in these pieces, and you can't rip out stickers and put them in a bin. So coming up, I'm not quite sure, but I will be addressing my sticker binders, and because in those sticker binders I have stickers, die cuts, and chipboard all in one binder, and I love that system. So I will be showing that because people have seen it in videos. They've asked about that. So those three groups, chipboard, die cuts, and stickers, is not in this video because to me it's a whole different group. Not, yeah, I'm just talking about these loose embellishments. Okay, that is all I have. Yes, I know that got long. If you have any questions, or if I did not link to something that I talked about in the video, just let me know. But I will list these acro meals. And again, that's the only one, and the ones that I got came in black, which fit my space. Because in my space, I have a lot of black and cream, ivory, or black and white. No, not black and white. Yeah, black and cream. Okay. And so they came in black, which is happy because I've seen some people spray paint them. I don't want to have to do that. So mine came in black, totally happy with that. And they again are by Acro Meals. Okay, and I will have the links below right off the bat. And I will try to also link the video that shows the teacher that just sparked the idea for this. So in love with this. It has really, I'm talking really increased my productivity. And then, you know, I just pull these out, do my pages, put them back in. If I have leftovers, I just put them back in there. It's just not a difficult process. Plus, look how much real estate, like a wood veneer, that takes up small. Even if you pull out 3, look, it hardly takes any room. I usually cattywampus them, and look how they stack. I mean, it just... love it. Love it, love it, love it. Okay, so if you have any other embellishment that I did not talk about and you maybe want a couple ideas, let me know. I'll see what I can come up with. And again, there's nothing wrong with letting it fit your style, even if that means using jump rings, sandwich bags, using containers you already have around the home. There is no wrong way to do embellishments. Just give a little bit of thought as to how you want to access them and where you're going to store them. Okay, and then also too, when you're thinking of a container, before you go hit that buy button, say, is this going to be the allotted amount of space I'm going to use for a bit? Because we all keep buying, we know that, okay? But say, like, you know, for a year or two, is this going to be the allotted amount that I'm going to say I'm not going to bring any more in, okay? But you do have to give yourself room to grow, okay? So when I got to those photo, you know, the color boxes, you know, those photo boxes that I did by color, once I'm up to the top, I know I have no more room. I cannot keep buying because I have no more room. Okay, I think that's it. I will have all the links below. If you have any questions, post them down below and I'll be glad. And we can keep on talking about this. And upcoming next will be stickers, die cuts, and chipboard. I would say in a couple weeks, maybe 2 or 3 weeks. Okay, that's all I have. Thank you for stopping by. Thank you for asking me to show all of these different ways. Some of this will be very elementary for you, some of you, but that's okay because we all had to learn somehow, right? Okay, and come back to RTS because you never know what we're going to learn. Bye.